You know those people who can stay completely cool under pressure? It's pretty amazing to watch, but it's not magic, and it's definitely not some personality trait they were just born with. It's actually a skill, a psychological tool that, believe it or not, anyone can learn. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it works.
I mean, think about it for a second. We've all seen this happen. A colleague makes a snarky comment in a meeting, or maybe a customer is just being completely unreasonable. I once saw a project manager get absolutely grilled by an executive about a deadline. The questions were sharp, almost personal. But she never got defensive, not once. She just listened, nodded, and calmly walked them through the new plan. And the tension in that room just vanished. How on earth do they do that?
Well, here's the secret. It has almost nothing to do with being nice or, being a pushover. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's a position of incredible strength, and it's built on a very specific psychological technique that lets them stay in the driver's seat when everyone else is expecting them to totally lose it.
Okay, so let's get into the first core mindset. This comes straight from cognitive psychology, and it's a concept called low personalization. Honestly, this is the absolute foundation for that unshakable composure we're talking about.
So what does that actually mean? Basically, low personalization is the ability to disconnect your ego from a situation. It's about building a kind of buffer between whatever is happening out there and your own sense of self-worth. It means you don't automatically jump to the conclusion that a negative thing is your fault or that it says something bad about you as a person. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. Look at the left, high personalization. Your idea gets rejected, and your brain immediately says, I'm not smart enough. That rejection becomes a personal attack, and the emotional hit from that, it's huge. But now look over at the right. With low personalization, you separate yourself from it. The idea was rejected, yeah, but the reason is external. Oh, the budget must be tight. It's the exact same event, but you've just created a completely different and much calmer emotional reality for yourself. All right, now for the second mindset, which is a perfect follow-up to the first. I like to call this the mirror effect, and it's all about shifting your focus completely away from yourself and onto the other person so you can see what's really going on. So here's the game-changing part. When someone is being rude or angry or dismissive towards you, their behavior is almost always a mirror. It's reflecting their own internal state. It's basically a broadcast of what's happening inside their world, not a final judgment on what's happening in yours.
So what's actually in that mirror? Well, it could be anything. They could be under a ton of stress from their own boss. Maybe they're feeling really insecure about their own work. Maybe they just got some bad news 5 minutes before talking to you. Think about that executive who was grilling the project lead. Who knows, maybe they had just gotten grilled by the board about company finances. These are all the invisible pressures that are driving the behavior that you can see.
Okay, so you're practicing low personalization. You're seeing their reaction as a mirror, but so what? What's the real payoff? Well, it's all about emotional control. This is where the whole thing goes from being a cool idea to a seriously powerful tool for your own sanity. The main goal here is to flatten your emotional spikes. You know that feeling, right? That sudden, sharp jolt of anger or frustration or self-doubt that just hijacks your brain when something goes wrong? By using these mindsets, you're basically grabbing the volume knob on all that emotional static and turning it way, way down.
And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? That first big bar, that's the typical reaction. The comment lands and bam, your anger or anxiety just shoots through the roof. But that second little bar, that's your reaction when you depersonalize and use the mirror effect. The event still happens, sure, but that emotional spike is tiny. It's manageable. You stay in control.
At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's about power. Not power over other people, but power over yourself. It lets you be the calm center in the middle of a storm. When everyone else is getting thrown around by their emotions, you stay stable, clear-headed, and completely in control of how you respond.
So how do you actually put this into practice? It's simple. Here's a 4-step action plan. Number 1, pause just for a second. Before you say or do anything, just create that little bit of space. 2, depersonalize. Literally tell yourself, this isn't about me. 3, consider their mirror. Ask, what might be going on with them right now? And finally, step 4, respond. Now you can respond from a place of total calm and clarity. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Think about your week ahead. Maybe it's with a difficult family member, a demanding client, or even just a random rude stranger.
What's one situation coming up where you could intentionally try this 4-step plan and just see what happens?